Hello, I'm Delit, and I'm so happy to be sharing my love of cross stitch with you today. I'm actually going to share a couple things besides cross stitch with you. I have some projects of mine to share and of some other people, and as well as some designs for cross stitch Afghans that I have in some cross stitch magazines and a couple of pamphlets and a book. We'll begin with the projects to show you, and I'll finish up with the cross stitch patterns that I can show you for the Afghans. So my first item I want to show you is a special, very special piece that it's not mine. My nephew brought it back from Hungary. He had a lady make this beautiful embroidery for my mother. I think you can see it all, but I don't think you can hear me behind um, the fabric. So I'm going to hold it up closer so you can see it's, I think, all satin stitch. Let me fold it a little bit so that I can show you how she did her edge, these things on the edge, and then I'll show you the middle. It's the same on the bottom, and then now let me show you the middle part. It's just lovely, and we've put it here in our dining room. Well, I'm not sure if it will stay there. It looks really beautiful in here. So the lady who made this, let me tell you about her. Maybe I'll hold it like this. So my nephew went on a mission to Hungary for a couple of years, and he was in different parts of the country. I think mostly in cities, and he was in Budapest and also a town in eastern Hungary. I'm not sure which town the lady lived in. Forgot to ask. I'll have to ask him. But she was like 84 years old and had survived World War II, which means she would have been a child back then. But she would have also lived under communist rule. So she's seen a lot of life. But she makes she embroiders things like this. And so he knew that my mother and father, but especially my mom, would really appreciate this. So he asked her to make this for his grandparents, which it was so sweet. We had missed him so much. He was the best gift. But so nice to get to see him. Um, but it was a special treat to get the embroidery as well. And I see she had it out here on the table to show some people who came from her church. Um, Anyhow, so um, that's like our pride and joy right now to have that. Um, so the projects that I'm going to show you that I've been working on, maybe I will start, since I'm showing you something someone else made, with a project I came across. And when I did it, reminded me of some things my grandmother had made. So I'm going to show you those as well. I was looking for a pattern for my mother for a cross stitch project she wants to resume that she hasn't worked on for a long time. I had found the pattern; it's in a binder, but we didn't have the fabric. So when I came across the fabric, she said, "Now find the pattern," because it had gotten misplaced. And I didn't really actually have any luck with that. But I did come across a bag that had this lovely towel that I had made. And in looking at the pattern, which I got online on Pinterest, I realized I thought it was all complete except for like hemming it, which is why it was in the sewing room. it got put in there whenever a sewing machine got put away, or I may have put it in there thinking, okay, hem it. And then it didn't get hemmed. But I realized I maybe need to do another row or two on this pattern. My mother calls this heck towel weaving, and this is done on waffle cloth. I'm going to hold it up close along with the pattern so you can see, maybe you can see that I am actually still missing a couple rows. And I didn't realize that till I tried making this video. And I was so determined to make the video. I did such a nice job. But I did it while my parents were watching a football game. Now, I'm not a football fan, so I would watch a football game and you could make your video just fine. But my father gets really excited and is quite loud. And I realized after I watched the video, oh, it's too distracting to have that. So I'll remake the video. Anyhow, so I had the idea to do this because my grandmother had done heck towel weaving. But as I'm looking at her towels, she did hers on. I gotta tell you, it doesn't look like waffle cloth. It just looks like a towel. See how the edges, I mean, she took a towel and did this. But I think the design is really cute, and I would like to make some towels off of her designs. And I wonder if I should just find like a kitchen towel that I can embroider on. If I could find this, I don't know, she might have sewn that up, but it's got the selvage edge, so I'm thinking she didn't. Anyhow, let me show you the design close. She did that all in one color. I mean, obviously you can, do a variation on that, but I like it. Just how Grandma did it. These are things of my mother's, not mine. And I think they are towels that Grandma used because this one has a stain. I will not, well, I'm going to show you the towel. It's a little smaller towel. I really like the touch of class that the extra little border down here gives, right above the selvage. So it's kind of tempting to do something like that on this towel after well, not after necessarily, but anyhow, above where the hem would be, or maybe even above and below this, kind of like how Grandma has her little border. She's just gone straight across, but she's used 6 different colors there, and that's just really pretty. I don't think it would take away from this at all to add those borders. And so anyhow, you weave it in and out. It's not cross stitching at all. And this pattern is really pretty. And it reminds me of monk's cloth, where you do the Swedish weaving on monk's cloth, except that here you use floss instead of yarn, and you do it on a much smaller fabric. But anyhow, I have only done that one project with the heck weaving. I did it a few years ago, so that's at least 2 years ago, I would say. So that's how long it's been waiting to get hemmed. That's what happens if it goes in a bag and sits in the sewing room. Doesn't get finished. So I wanted to also show you a couple of projects that I have started and an update on a project I have shown you before. So I think I will show you the update on my sagebrush sampler. Now, I had ironed this. It looked really nice. And currently it doesn't look as ironed as it did a week ago because it got wrinkled. Obviously. So here's the sagebrush sampler. I'm going to have a big sagebrush down here. I've only done a little bit on the sagebrush. Sorry, my needles are about to fall out in a couple places. and I don't want to lose them. It's a bad habit I have. Um, so you can see here where I'm working on my sagebrush and need to do more on that. I've been trying to deal with the fraying by putting in a row here all the way around. And I've almost finished. Still have, I mean, I have this nice edge that I don't have to worry about. Still have to finish that. I should finish that up soon. Here we go. But what I had shown you before was just a little bit of the sagebrush, and then I had started on the alphabet, but I've made a lot of progress on the alphabet, so I wanted to show that to you. And I even have done the number 1. So I was so excited to get on the number line. I was thinking that would mean I could start my border that I was going to put under the alphabet. I even kind of picked out the floss and started, and then I realized that I didn't like the first border I tried. So I took that out. And when I decided on a border that I was pretty sure I wanted, which is actually not cross stitch, it's a embroidery stitch. I mean, cross stitch is an embroidery stitch. It's a different stitch besides cross stitch that I am taking from Melinda Koss, her Reader's Digest Complete Book of Embroidery. I think this book is out of print, but it's a great resource if you can find it like in a used bookstore. She has them divided by stitch families. So she has the cross stitch family, and I'm going to use the zigzag stitch, which is this stitch right here. Really cute, and I'm excited to do it, but you do it from right to left, not left to right. So, and I haven't wanted to count from the Z. I was thinking I would count from the number underneath it, but one of these days I will probably just count from the Z down and get started on my little border, just so I can see it. I'm not sure what other borders I'm going to put in, and anyhow, once I get that border in, I don't know. I kind of have to do these things in a particular order in my mind, but yes. Once I have the border in, then I feel like I can put my little bunny rabbit over here. Not bunny, it's a jackrabbit, but it's not going to be all that big under the 1. So there will be a border and then a jackrabbit. And some of the other things I'm going to put on here, I don't know. I think I kind of feel like I need the sagebrush done more before I can decide whether I want to stick all my other things. But possibly that's not true. I could start on an alphabet on the bottom. I've been thinking I would do one of those. Either a lowercase alphabet or a cursive. I haven't quite decided. I'm kind of taking a long time with folding this. Anyhow, so I will work more on that, and when I've made more progress, we'll have a look at it. But I felt like I'd made enough progress with my alphabet to show you how it looked, since it's, at least half done. My mother feels like you can't really see the letters. They don't stand out well enough. They kind of fade in the background, which is true. I think that once there's more added, especially borders, it will be easier to see, but I can always backstitch around it if I feel like it needs to be seen better. But I'm happy with it. It's a variegated floss. I was going to show you the floss number, but it's too far for me to reach. try now. I guess another time. The other project that I've started comes from this book, Charted Peasant Designs from Saxon, Transylvania, which would be in Romania, actually kind of near to where, when I say near, in the general region of Europe where my nephew was when he was in Hungary. I don't know how much that these were done in that part of Europe, but um, anyhow, I love this style of embroidery. Most of these are all the charts inside. This is a Dover publication. Here's the information. You can find this online, like used, but I don't know if it's still in print. And the pictures are kind of hard to see because of how old this is. But it gives a nice background on where, like, what it is you're looking at and when they were made and where they're from. But anyhow, I'm doing it on napkins. I've been wanting to start these napkins. I finally started it. So what we have, it's very small. The holes on this napkin are so teeny tiny. And I had started stitching with 2 threads and have had to take it out when I made mistakes. And then even when I had done it right, I still had to take it out because I said that's just too bulky and it's stretching the fabric. And if I just use 1 thread, it will be just right. And so I have picked out 321. And I realized that's the red, that's my go-to red, I think, because I had grabbed all the different reds when I was at Hobby Lobby getting some floss. And I was getting some floss for a project from my mother that I'm helping her with. The one she's been working on, it's this Victorian floral. I just realized how dirty this is getting. But in any case, 321. I grabbed a bunch of threads at Hobby Lobby, and this was the one that I just settled on. And I think I always settle on that red, so I don't know why I looked at them all. I should have just gone straight to it. But so this down here is a flower, and these are leaves. And then this is the bottom, very bottom of a vase, and then there will be flowers in it. And it's going to be really cute. And I think that, I can just do the one motif in the middle of the napkin, or I can do it all the way across the bottom, or I can do it like all the way around the napkin. I'm not sure what I'll do. Probably I will do a motif on a napkin, get myself 4 napkins so that we can use the napkins. This is actually something to use. And I was thinking how fun it would be to have a tablecloth to go with it. So, it's getting all over my shirt too. Um, so I don't know if I would then go back and finish the napkins or if I will just do one to start out with and see what I think. But anyhow, I'm excited for it. And there's so many patterns in here. It was very hard to choose the pattern that I would do. I know generally we're like not supposed to show you. But I was realizing I could have picked one of the really big. It was really quick, so I think it's okay. One of the really big motifs, or which I had thought were too big for the napkin, but because the holes are so small, I actually think it would have been fine. It would fit. But in any case, I went for something smaller than that. And so it's turning out teeny tiny. Sorry, I was just looking for it. Oh, here it is. I'm just going to show you this really quick so that you can see. That's what I'm making. I don't usually show these charts on here. Hopefully it won't be a problem. But it's hard for you to picture what I'm making. if I don't do that. I got them, the dinner napkins I got at Joann's. That's just so that if you want to get some dinner napkins to stitch up whatever pattern you want to make, that's what that's for. And then the other project that I started is a kit that I've had for 20 years. Yellowstone bison. It's this. And then they have this information. Sorry, you'll have to freeze frame if you want to read all of that. This, so it comes with the threads. It came with the 8 o'clock 14 count, and it came with a needle, like a size 24, nice big needle. Ziploc bag, like I can just keep my project in here. It's so nice. And I have the pattern somewhere else, but here you go. You can see it's just tiny, and they give you the DMC numbers, which is good if I have to buy any more thread, which could happen. I started making this, and my mother, who has gotten kind of discouraged with her own project, saw me working on it, and also saw that I wasn't helping her with hers because I had promised to put the border in that I had suggested she take out. I said, I'll put it back in. So now I'm putting it back in. But I had started some new projects, and she thought, why aren't you working on mine? She's concerned. She's 80, just turned 80, and worried she won't live to see it framed and put up. And so she kind of is anxious for me to just work on that and get it finished. But my mother stitches on one project at a time. So she actually always thinks that's how I should stitch. And I always think, don't you want to pull out all of your other projects and work on those? Wouldn't you like to start a new project? Here, I have, a few thousand patterns that you can look through. And she has several of her own, actually. But anyhow, this is the buffalo, the bison. These are the legs. This is the neck part. Let me show you the picture so you can see. This is, I've done this part right here and started going up. And it's a small thing to do. I should be able to finish it pretty quick and easy. And so she started out stitching for me. But here's the thing. My mom and I are different in a few ways when it comes to cross stitch. She doesn't stitch starting in the same hole that I do. So when I work on her project, I have to make sure I do things different from how I normally stitch. It's kind of hard and tricky. And I did have to go back and take out some stitches because I had been going along just fine the way she stitches, and then all of a sudden stitched the way I stitch. And so that was a problem. Can't have that. So she had gone through and stitched a section and told me that I had been stitching and that was the way I had stitched, was the way she had, but she was wrong. She just had stitched the way she always does. And because this is such a dark thread, it is really hard to tell which thread is on top. So I was able to, with the needle, kind of put it on there and say, no, I didn't get confused and stitch like you do. All the rest of it is my direction, and now this row is your direction. So we have to take that out and start over. So unfortunately, there's nothing here you can see that my mother stitched because I had to take it out. But I did think, that would be good for her. It's a small, easy project to work on, to have to hold. She likes to have her pattern blown up, enlarged. And so she has this enormous pattern to have to maneuver. And her fabric is quite a large piece of fabric because it's a large project. It's on black fabric. You're using metallic thread. So there's a lot of complicated aspects to it. Besides, it's a much more complicated design. So this is a easy thing to do. I think it would be good to have, I like to have the different kinds, something easy that I don't have to think about. Like even on this, if I don't have to think about things, I just work on this, right? Anyhow, we disagree. She has not wanted to start a new project. So before I start talking about the Afghans, I did notice that I forgot to show you this when I was showing you the Huck towel weaving. On Pinterest, I've pinned various um, stitching things, and one of them was this, which I think is actually, it looks like a bookmark, but it's just gorgeous and would work fine on a towel or a blanket, whatever you wanted to stitch it on. And I just wanted to show you the design. That's just a lovely style of embroidery that I really like. There are some other things like that that I should show you. I like doing chicken scratch, for instance, which I've also seen the name Swiss embroidery for the same designs. And I love that. It's so fun to do and really pretty, but I haven't worked on it in a while. So anyhow, so now we can move on to the Afghan part. I came across this Afghan, which I think is a Charles Craft Afghan. And I have a pattern that I really have wanted to make into an Afghan. But the number of squares you need to do the alphabet is not the number of squares on this Afghan. And I'm pretty sure that when I bought the Afghan, it came with a pattern, like a rose or something. And um, this has been a long, I like when I say long, I mean like decades long time ago since I bought this. And I probably do still have the pattern. When I very first started getting cross stitch patterns, I kept them in file folders because that's how many I had, just like a few. So things that I had went in file folders because my life was much more, a lot less back then. Now I have them in binders because I have so much more. But some of those early things are still in those folders. And I just haven't gone through boxes and things like that to look for it. So it's possible if I do find that before I start stitching on this, that I would do that pattern because I remember that I really liked that Afghan. To do this, I need to buy, this is a Pat Rogers design. To do this, I need to buy a different Afghan because it needs to be big enough for the alphabet. And you can do this, but to do either one or to do the pillow, any of it, I need fabric. And I am in a spend money only on my mouth for dental work situation. In addition to everything I'm already having done, I had part of a filling come out. So I have an appointment on Thursday to go get that dealt with. And then in a couple of weeks, I'm getting a crown on this tooth back here. I still have a root canal to do up here. This, the one that's getting the filling replaced, still needs the crown put on it, which I'm doing at the end of the month of November. And I still need some deep cleanings because I have that periodontitis. Don't get it. It puts you at risk for all kinds of things. That means floss, which you already do. But if you happen by chance to be like me and haven't, start flossing. Anyhow, but that's what I came across, wanted to do, went and looked for my Afghan fabric, found it, and then was so disappointed and sad that I couldn't do that. And I also didn't know where the other pattern was. And I was like, oh, I could do this on it. This is also pretty. Technically, it will fit, so I could still do this. You'll notice that this is a picture, one picture, and it goes across the little crisscross parts. And they do often go stretch from one side to the other. And there's just enough space more in each of these squares that there, so some of them it won't matter, like here, where it doesn't go from one end to the other. But others, it does. There's going to be like a little gap. So I haven't decided for sure to do this because that kind of bugs me. Maybe I shouldn't, but it does. So I have some patterns to show you that I looked through my magazine and found. Now here you can stitch over one thread or over two threads. So I think these patterns that I've looked through would actually work on here, whether I did them over two threads or over one thread. Some of them would have to be over one because of how big the design is. And it wouldn't take up the whole space. That wouldn't fit the block completely. either like that. So another option, of course, is to do something like, I thought of this just last week, to do something like one of the designs in here. I think I showed you that motif that could be used on a tablecloth or something, like one of the large motifs that might fit the block. And you don't necessarily do it in every block. You like do leave blocks empty, or you put some other pattern in there in between. So that's a possibility. There's a few possibilities, so I'm going to show those to you. It's going to kind of turn out to be a little bit of a long video, because that's the way the other one turned out. I guess I just take a long time to do all this, or I have a lot that I'm showing you. Okay, so there really are not that many cross-stitch patterns in the cross-stitch magazines, but there are a lot of advertisements for things like this, where you can write into a magazine and get like a free pattern, or sometimes the fabric that you buy might come with a pattern. And then there's all the stuff online, so I'm sure you can find a nice pattern. Magazines and books are actually just not the best place to find the Afghan patterns. Some of the best ones are the ones that you would probably write in for. As I looked through, I saw a lot of advertisements for Afghan fabric, cross-stitch Afghans with really cute designs. But these magazines are, some of them are more than 20 years old, 25 years old, or 30 if they're from like vintage ones that I bought. So I don't know if any of them are. There might be a couple, but anyhow, we'll start with one from Stony Creek Cross Stitch. This is volume 18, number 3 from June 2006. It's really beautiful, but the problem is, and this is the case with a few of the Afghan patterns, you needed to have bought more than one issue of the magazine to have the full pattern. So even though I have the magazine to show you the pattern, I don't necessarily have, in each case, every issue of the magazine to complete the pattern myself. I'd have to search them out to do that. And that's the case here. It has 3 patterns in it. I think it has these 3 right here. But it's a beautiful Afghan. I wanted to show it to you, and just so that you could think about maybe making something like this. It's a project that will take a while if you do something this extensive. But won't it be gorgeous when it's done? I'm going to just go in so you can see it up close. Has this nice little fringe to it, and there are instructions in one of these for fringing it and then like tying them and grouping them up into little knots and tying it to make it really pretty, and how you go around the edge of the fabric to make it so it doesn't keep unraveling. Although they have these little borders that keeps that from happening. And this is a Hearthside 14 count beige Afghan, and they've used anchor floss to do it. I was just looking to see if they had the name of the designer here. But do you know, they don't. So we won't keep looking for that. But that, I think of that as the welcome Afghan. It has all those beautiful hummingbirds. And I have another hummingbird Afghan in here. I guess they're very popular with cross stitchers. This is the one I think I would be most likely to use on my fabric. I'm strongly considering this, even though my fabric is cream colored and this is blue, and I do think it looks better on the blue. But if I spend money on Afghan fabric, blue Afghan fabric to make this is not the first thing that I'm going to spend it on. It's going to be fabric, these other Afghans that I've shown you. So I think I might do this on the cream. I think it would still be pretty. I probably wouldn't do this on white or in cream. I would Blue would be nice. I would do a different color. Could do black or something. Isn't that cute? And that's been done over 2 threads, I believe. And so what you have here you can see the black in a little better. Let me cover up the pattern. So do you see how there's a lattice design with like here? And this is the layout for the Afghan. So my Afghan is not quite as big as this one. So I would have to adjust where things went a little bit to make it work. But they're really pretty. They've just done a regular fringe around the edge. I kind of liked the ones that had them tied in knots. They were cute. And that's not too hard to do. There's that. Here's the other hummingbird Afghan. This is another one that I could do on my fabric. And again, I would have to change the layout a little bit. The way they have it, there's certain hummingbird patterns centered kind of around each other with a center square that's empty. And then they have like a circle or a shape of empty squares, and then like in corners kind of around. They have some more hummingbird designs. And it does have a bell pull to go with it, so I will just show you that on the other side. It's really cute. And this is in just cross stitch. This is April 2009. The other poppies, blue violets and poppies, was also just cross stitch April 2006. So this one, yeah, that would be easy. I wouldn't have to adapt as much to do the hummingbird, this hummingbird Afghan. I simply am more interested in making it as a bell pull or like as a something else besides an Afghan. Whereas I think I would like the blue violets and poppies as an Afghan. Just yeah, I would like that. Um, this would also work. I like it, and it would be nice to make for someone. I like the flowers better for myself, but someone else would really love the musical instruments. It's not that I wouldn't like them. Very nice. This is Charles Craft Afghan, so yeah, and I wouldn't really have to adapt so much on that. Oh, maybe even. That is just Cross Stitch Magazine. That is, if you want to make that Afghan, September, October 2009. This is very cute. This is a strong contender for me doing on my Afghan because it is so pretty. I have a few in books that I didn't take the time to find and put in this video that I would also consider making into an Afghan. But I don't know if I'm going to search around through them and do those, just like I don't know if I'll look for the flower, the original pattern for the Afghan, or if I'll just do the blue poppies. Or this I'm liking more, the more I think about it. This is the one that tells you how to do the knotted fringe. It's really cute. And what's interesting here is they've taken this from this pattern, and instead of doing all of it, they just did this. So even though you might not do the whole border, you could put the phrase somewhere else on the Afghan if you wanted to. It's not a phrase, poem. So that one is For the Love of Cross Stitch, and that's July 1994. And I don't think they tell us who designed this either. Oh, Cooler Design Studio, and it does look like one of their designs. This is a leisure arts magazine. And I have a couple of these kinds, and I think the same designer did both Afghans. I love this. I only have the one issue, so I don't have all of the buildings. I have like 3 buildings, which you could still like just do them more than once and have the Afghan. You could just do your favorite building several times. You could put something else in it with it, pumpkins or trees or leaves or whatever, sayings, I don't know, words. It's lovely. This is Stony Creek Collection magazine. It's February 2004. Yeah, and so you needed to have gotten all the different issues of this back then. And this is that 14 count beige Harside Afghan that I think was another one that was in here. It's one of my first magazines that I bought. Oh, here we go. Here's the other hometown Afghan, like I said. And the designer on this is Julia Lucas, and I think she designed the other one. I would like to stitch some of these. I just think I would rather do it as a pillow or a framed piece than several of them on a napkin. And for me, it really would take the rest of my life. It's a lot to do. This is a really cute Afghan. I do have some fabric for baby Afghans, which is different from this one. And here you'll notice there's one that's got the yellow around and one that they've taken blue thread and gone around. It's cute. I like the ducks and chicks better than the bears and bunnies. I do like bears and bunnies. I'm just not crazy about these bears and bunnies. This is using Ann cloth. They've used 18 count. Um, I don't see. Oh, it says Marina Anderson designed it, so they do have the designer on that. That's For the Love of Cross Stitch, the first issue, which I think was like maybe 1990. Or it could have been like 88, I'm not sure, but it was 33, 35 years ago. This is a cute Afghan. I would never make it like for me, but it would be fun to make for someone that appreciates this. I just think it's cute. It's these cowboy boots that are like kind of painted wildly. And this has that knotted fringe that's so pretty. And here they've put it in one of them in a pillow. And so there's a separate, you have to have 2 issues of the magazine to get the whole design, to get the pillow. See, this one says pillow. This one says Afghan. Anyhow, they're adorable. This is a just cross stitch. This is from February 2007 and April 2007. So these are the 2 issues of that. And see here, These are these lovely Afghans that are advertised throughout these magazines with all kinds of different interesting fabrics that you can buy to do your Afghans on. Okay, we're almost done. I have a couple that are quilts, partly because I don't have enough quilts to do a separate, I don't think, to do a separate video on cross stitch quilts. So I thought I would include them here, but also I counted it out and they would work in my Afghan if I wanted to put this in the Afghan fabric that I have. I could do an Afghan with these instead of a quilt. Here they've made a pieced Afghan and then tied it with a ruffle. I personally, if I'm going to piece an Afghan and do all that cross stitching, would hand quilt just to make it that much nicer. But um, those are little dolls in each of the pictures, and I'm trying to find a place where you can see. There you go. This shows the quilt better. So they're just doing different things. They're like on a rocking horse. They have balloons. Um, they have a baby carriage. It's really cute. And that is a really cute quilt. I do like the quilt. Um, that is the magazine Cross Stitch and Needlework. It used to be Cross Stitch and Country Crafts back in the 80s. Then it turned into Cross Stitch and Needlework. It says that right here. Just so you don't have to take my word for it. This is from August 1996. Oh, and it may have had the designer. I am sorry for not telling you who. So different people designed each thing. Lori Birmingham. Oh no, she designed all the cross stitch things. And then someone else designed the chair because they have instructions on how to decoupage the chair. Um, anyhow, here's the other quilt. This is from Cross Stitch and Needlework again. This is March, April 2000. This one is they made into a wall hanging. So you could use the tiny squares, the flowers in the corners in an Afghan and repeat them. Also, I counted it. I did go to the trouble of counting it, and the birds would fit if I wanted to include them in my Afghan. And you put them in more than once, and they occupy space. And so that would be really pretty. And so you can do that with just about anything. You could take a cross stitch design that has elements in it that you really like and you think, wow, I love it so much I want to do it again, or I want to wrap myself in it. And you can put them in the squares of your Afghan and just make it lovely. This has a beautiful little verse from the Bible, actually. And it says, it's from the Song of Solomon. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone, the flowers appear on the earth, the time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. Which, when I did this a week ago, yeah, it was fresh on my mind, everything that was going on with the taking of hostages over in Israel and all of the war that's going on. And I just thought, this is a wonderful message of peace and hope. Sometimes you need that reminder when the world is kind of in commotion. So here is our last um, one that I'm going to show you. It's from a book. I've actually done a lot of patterns from this book, Cross Stitch for Special Occasions. Again, I mean, I think I bought this at, I don't know if it was out of print when I bought it. I'm not sure where I bought it. Oh, Bargain Books. So, yeah. I don't know if you can find the book or if you have to like get it on eBay, but they have a lot of really cute designs in here. And one of them would be more for a baby Afghan. Now, honestly, it's just ABC. It's not the whole alphabet, but little bears with balloons and ABC. Isn't that cute? And they call it a shawl, but not really. You wouldn't wrap that around your arms, would you? But look, it says shawl. Is that what they call it in other countries, even though it's an Afghan? Instead of calling it an Afghan, they call it a shawl? Because, I mean, it looks pretty much like a blanket to me. Not a shawl. I think of a shawl as just something you wrap yourself in, like you wrap yourself in a blanket. But you know what I mean, that you wear like a piece of clothing, like a sweater or something. I did think that would also work. And guess what? I call that a shawl too. Maybe that's what they say in England. Somebody know? Um, but so there's two different butterflies. You could change the colors of the butterflies. Um, the book was done by Maria Kelly, so I assume she did all the designs. And here they've just done it on fabric. You could easily do an Afghan out of monk's cloth and do just about any kind of design you wanted. So that is what I have for you for cross stitching, embroidery, huck, towel weaving. Um, yeah, that's what I have for you today. I leave your comments or questions. I love to read those and respond. And I look forward to making another video for you and have a good day.